My office was full of rumors about the CEO's affair. One night, I stayed late and saw him sneak into the break room with my coworker. They didn't notice me watching as they locked the door. The next day, I accidentally played the security footage during a company meeting. The CEO's wife was in attendance. His mistress screamed, "Why would you do this?" I smiled and said, "Consider it a team collaboration. I work in a marketing firm in downtown Chicago. Around 150 employees. One of those, we're like a family, companies that say they have an open-door culture but actually just want you to work late for free pizza and fake appreciation emails. Our CEO, Philip Lambert, is a man with too much charm for his own good. Always suited up, always saying the right things. He built the company from the ground up, so people treat him like some kind of god. But anyone who's been in the company long enough knows the truth, Philip plays favorites. And more than once, those favorites just happen to be attractive, younger women. About 6 months ago, a rumor started making the rounds. People were saying he was hooking up with someone on the branding team. At first, I didn't care. These kinds of rumors pop up in offices all the time. But this one didn't go away. It kept coming back. Different people. Same story. The name that kept coming up? Mia Rodriguez. She sat 3 desks away from me. She used to be friendly. We'd chat sometimes, grab coffee, joke about annoying clients. But a few months ago, she started changing. She'd disappear into Philip's office for long strategy talks. She got assigned to high-profile projects she wasn't qualified for. Suddenly, she was being invited to leadership dinners, even though she wasn't anywhere near management. People noticed. They didn't say anything out loud, but the side eyes, the quiet pauses when she walked in, it said enough. Now, here's where it gets real. Last month, we were getting ready for our big quarterly meeting. I was in charge of building the company slide deck. Charts, projections, that kind of stuff. Most people left by 6:30 p.m. that Thursday night. I stayed late, had to finalize the numbers from finance and align the visuals. I was the only one on the floor. Or so I thought. At around 8:45 p.m., I heard footsteps. Not just casual walking, quick, soft, nervous-sounding steps. I paused my music and listened. Then I heard the break room door open. Then, a click. The sound of the door locking. Now let me explain, the break room is down a short hallway from the main office space. It's small, fridge, coffee machine, microwave, and a little round table with a few chairs. No one locks that door. Ever. There's no reason to. Something felt off. I stood up, walked slowly toward the hallway, keeping to the side so I wouldn't be seen. The overhead lights were dimmed in that area, and I stopped just before the corner where I had a direct line of sight to the break room door. That's when I saw them. Philip and Mia. He had his hand on the small of her back. She was laughing softly, leaning close. They both stepped inside and closed the door behind them. A second later, the light inside the break room went out. I stood there for a full minute, just staring at the closed door. No words. Just a sinking feeling in my stomach. I walked back to my desk, sat down, stared at my screen, and felt this weird mix of emotions. Shock, anger, confusion. I wasn't surprised, not really, but something about actually seeing it, something changed. Now, here's the thing. About 3 months ago, the building installed a new security system. Better cameras. Better angles. Higher resolution. I knew this because I helped IT test some of the visuals for a promo campaign. I also knew where the feeds were stored. I didn't sleep that night. I went home, logged into the server using credentials I shouldn't have had anymore, and scrolled through the timestamped feeds. 8:42 p.m. Break room camera. There they were. Walking in. Locking the door. No sound, but you could see everything. Philip turning off the lights. Mia reaching back and locking the door. I downloaded the footage and saved it to a USB. The next morning was our big meeting. The room was packed. Sales, finance, HR, admin, everyone was there. Even Patricia Lambert. Philip's wife. She sat in the front row, like she always did. She runs the charity division under our company umbrella. Very involved, very visible. Philip walked in like nothing happened. So did Mia. They avoided eye contact with everyone, including each other. But I saw it, his hand brushing against hers when they passed. Too casual to mean nothing. Too subtle to be innocent. Now this is the part where I'd love to say I had a clear plan. I didn't. But when Philip asked if the slide deck was ready, I said yeah. And I plugged in my USB. I swapped the intro slide with the video file. The footage started playing. No audio, just the visual. A clear, high-resolution clip of Philip and Mia entering the break room. The timestamp in the corner. The camera angle. The door closing. The lock clicking. Nobody moved. Then someone gasped. And then, Patricia leaned forward, squinting at the screen. Philip jumped from his seat, yelling, "Turn that off." But it was too late. Everyone saw it. Mia stood up and shouted, "Why would you do this?" I didn't say anything. I just turned to her. I didn't blink. I didn't flinch. Just looked her straight in the eyes. And then, Mia froze like a deer in headlights. The room was completely still. Nobody said a word. She looked at me, eyes wide, full of panic. Then again at the screen. Her mouth dropped open. It was like her brain couldn't process fast enough. Philip was already storming toward the front of the room. "What the hell is this?" he barked. I turned off the video. Just paused it and stood there, calm. My heart was beating fast, but I didn't show it. I looked at him and said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Just thought it'd be good to start the meeting with a real example of team collaboration." Laughter. Not loud. Just one or two awkward chuckles. HR looked like they were about to pass out. The head of finance started whispering to someone next to him. Patricia, the CEO's wife, didn't move. Her face was blank. Too calm. Philip was shaking now. Red-faced. He pointed at me. "You're done," he said. "Security. Get him out." But nobody moved. Why? Because half the people in that room had been treated like garbage by Philip. Passed over for promotions. Ignored in meetings. Thrown under the bus for mistakes that weren't theirs. I wasn't the only one tired of his crap. Mia turned and ran out of the room. And Philip followed her. The door slammed shut behind them. Everyone just sat there in silence. Then Patricia stood up. Picked up her handbag. Turned to the room and said, very softly, "I'll be handling this. Stay seated." She walked out. That's when the real chaos started. People started whispering. Phones came out. I heard someone say, "Oh my God, this is going to leak." Another voice, "I knew it. I knew it." 10 minutes later, the COO, Eric, walked in. Middle-aged guy, quiet type, doesn't speak unless he needs to. Always looked tired. He walked straight to the front of the room. "Philip and Mia will not be returning today," he said. "This meeting is cancelled. I'll be in touch." Then he looked at me. "Stay after." The room slowly cleared. Everyone whispering, staring at me like I'd just pulled the fire alarm during church. Once the room was empty, it was just me and Eric. He closed the door. "What the hell was that?" he asked, but not angry. More, tired. Maybe impressed. I couldn't tell. I told him the truth. I told him what I saw. How I knew about the security feeds. How I watched it happen. How I'd had enough. He just stood there. "Let me talk." When I finished, he rubbed his face with both hands. "I'm not going to pretend this was the right way to do it," he said. "But. Damn." Then he dropped the bomb. "You're not the only one who's seen things." I blinked. "What do you mean?" He walked over to the wall and closed the blinds. Turned back to me. "There's been a silent investigation for weeks. Misuse of company funds. Favoritism. Weird payments tied to consulting services. Guess whose name kept coming up?" I said nothing. He nodded slowly. "Philip. And guess who authorized half those payments?" He stared at the door. Then at me. "Mia." I felt cold all over. "You might have just given legal the ammo they needed to act. But you also might have made yourself a target." "A target?" He handed me a folder. "Take this home. Don't open it here. You didn't get it from me. If anyone asks, you never saw me today. What's in it?" "Insurance." Then he opened the door and walked out. I sat there for a few minutes. Mind racing. Insurance? Investigation? What the hell was going on? That night, I went home and opened the folder. Inside were printed emails. Screenshots. Expense reports. Hotel invoices. One caught my eye right away, a bill for a consulting retreat in Napa Valley. 2 guests. No notes. Paid with a corporate card. Signed by Philip. Approved by Mia. And stapled to the back? A printed screenshot of an internal Slack conversation. Between Mia and Philip. Mia, she's not suspicious yet. I'll keep her busy with the charity events. Philip, good. After next quarter, we'll move money again. Same vendor. My hands were shaking. I read it again. And again. They weren't just having an affair. They were hiding something. Something big. Something that had nothing to do with sex and everything to do with money. And now, I was part of it. Or at least, I had the receipts. But I also had a giant target on my back. That's when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. You should have kept your mouth shut. I stared at the message on my phone. You should have kept your mouth shut. No name. Just that. I tried calling the number. Straight to voicemail. No profile picture. Nothing on Truecaller. I didn't sleep that night. Next morning, I got to the office early. Earlier than usual. I needed to think, and I didn't want to do it from home. I kept that folder in my backpack, zipped up tight, but the whole walk-in, I felt like I was being watched. When I walked through the glass doors of the office, I knew something was off. The receptionist, Dana, wouldn't make eye contact. She just said, "Morning," without looking up. I got to my desk. Logged in. And that's when I saw it, access denied. I tried again. Nothing. 10 seconds later, IT pinged me on Teams. Hey, your access is being reviewed. We were told to freeze your credentials temporarily. No explanation. I didn't panic. Not yet. I messaged Eric, the COO. No reply. Mia's desk? Empty. Everything gone. Like she was never there. Philip's office? The nameplate was still there, but the glass door was locked, blinds down. I went to the bathroom to breathe. Took out the folder from my bag. I stared at it, thinking. Was this it? Was this going to get buried? Then I noticed something tucked into the side pocket of the folder I hadn't seen the night before. A sticky note. Room 23. Metro storage. Use key inside. There was a small key taped behind the note. I held it in my hand, completely still. What the hell was in room 23? I left the office and drove straight to Metro storage, about 20 minutes away in the West Loop. Industrial, gray, bland-looking place with rows of orange doors and numbers. Room 23 was at the end of the third row. I unlocked it with the key. Inside was a box. Just one cardboard box, sealed with duct tape. No cameras. No other units open. I lifted the box and carried it to my car. Inside? 2 hard drives. 1 black notebook. And another folder. The notebook was full of notes. Handwritten. The same handwriting from the sticky note. Patricia's. She had been tracking them. Meetings. Dates. Expenses. Flight numbers. Names of vendors. Some pages had copies of checks, photocopies with weird names and dummy companies. The other folder was even worse. Photos. Photos of Philip with 2 other women. None of them were Mia. Some at events. Some at restaurants. One in what looked like a hotel room. He wasn't careful. He didn't try to hide anything. There was even one photo of a man I did recognize. Our company's head of legal. His arm around Mia. This went deeper than an affair. This was a network. A system. People inside the company were helping him. People I worked with every day. I was holding evidence that could burn the whole building down. And Patricia? She knew. She wasn't just the heartbroken wife sitting in the front row. She was building a case. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a name I did recognize. Patricia Lambert. I hesitated. Then picked up. You've seen it? She asked. Yeah. She exhaled through the speaker. I didn't plan for you to be the one. But now that you're in it, I need to know something. I didn't speak. Can I trust you? I didn't know what to say. I'm not trying to save my marriage, she said. I'm trying to save this company. Philip has been using it as a piggy bank. And Mia was just one of many. It's not just sex. It's fraud. It's tax evasion. If we don't act soon, the whole thing falls apart. I'm already being locked out, I said. Somebody threatened me. That wasn't me, she replied. And it wasn't Eric. Silence. Then who? I think it's legal. Or finance. Maybe both. Philip built a circle around him. People with skin in the game. They're watching everything. And now they're watching you. I asked her why she left the folder for me. She said, because you already made the first move. And you weren't scared to do it in front of 100 people. Then she gave me another name. Sandra Lane. She's an internal audit. Quiet. Smart. She's been feeding me pieces. She can help you now, but you have to go carefully. They're already suspicious of her. I hung up the phone and sat in my car for a long time, staring at the dash. From office gossip to locked break rooms, I was now in the middle of something criminal. Something dangerous. And I was out of time. Because that night, when I got home, my apartment door was unlocked. Nothing was stolen. Nothing broken. But one thing was different. The USB I kept in my drawer, the one with the original break room footage? Gone. That night after finding the USB gone, I knew it was over. Not the situation. The silence. The waiting. This wasn't a slow burn mess anymore. It was moving fast. People were watching me. My files were locked. My desk at work was cleared without warning the next day. I was technically still employed, but it felt like I was already a ghost. I met with Sandra Lane in a parking garage in Oak Park. She looked nervous, kept checking over her shoulder. She handed me a backup USB, the same footage, plus more. I copied everything before your access got cut, she whispered. There's a spreadsheet in there. Over $300,000 in fake vendor payments in the last 18 months. Most tied to shell companies run by Philip's connections. How deep does this go? I asked. She gave a small, bitter laugh. Deep enough that you might want to call a lawyer. I didn't go home that night. I checked into a cheap hotel off I-90 using cash. At 3 a.m., I got a text from Patricia, tomorrow. 9 a.m. Executive floor. Bring the footage. Bring courage. Next morning, I wore a plain shirt, no tie, no suit. Nothing flashy. I wasn't here to impress anyone. I got to the executive conference room at 8:55. The room was already half full. Not just executives, the board was there. CFO. COO. Legal. HR. And Patricia. Philip walked in at 9:01 with two lawyers. He didn't even look at me. Mia walked in at 9:04, trying to look composed. She failed. Patricia stood up first. She spoke clearly, like someone who had practiced. I've called this meeting to reveal and resolve a situation that's been slowly poisoning this company. Philip interrupted. This is a waste of the board's time. Whatever nonsense you're, Patricia held up her hand. Then turned to me. I stood, plugged in the USB, and played a short sequence. Break room footage. Napa Valley receipts. Vendor payment list. No commentary. Just facts. Silence followed. Heavy silence. You could feel the tension dragging down the oxygen in the room. Then Sandra stood up and said one sentence, we found 18 shell companies. 4 of them trace back to your brother-in-law, Philip. Boom. Philip finally broke. Red-faced, he shouted, this is slander. You think I'd be that careless? Patricia cut in coldly. No. I think you thought you were untouchable. Then she threw a folder on the table. Inside were printed conversations, Slack, emails, and receipts signed in Mia's name, but with her handwriting looking shaky. Mia stood up. No, I didn't sign half of those. You forged my. Philip turned on her so fast, it shocked everyone. Oh please, you were fine taking the perks. You played along. Mia's voice cracked. I didn't know it was this deep. I thought it was just a way to get ahead. Philip barked, you knew what this was from the start. She looked like someone had slapped her. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I gave up everything for you. The room went quiet again. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't let them fall. I betrayed friends. I lied for you. I ruined my own name. And now I'm just disposable? Philip didn't say a word. He just looked away. And that's when it happened. Patricia leaned forward and asked, Mia, did you know Philip was also seeing someone in legal? Mia's head snapped up. What? She looked around. The legal advisor, Greg, wouldn't meet her eyes. Then she saw it. The photo. The one in the file. Mia's knees buckled. She reached for the chair and sank down. Everyone was silent. No one jumped to defend her. No one comforted her. Even HR just looked tired. Philip was pacing now, muttering under his breath. And finally, he cracked. You think I built this company by playing clean? You think people like me follow rules? You need someone like me to keep this place alive. Patricia stepped forward, speaking not to him, but the room. And that's the problem. We built something real. And then we let him become the brand. Philip was escorted out within the hour. Not arrested, but fired, publicly. His lawyer said pending investigation, but we all knew what that meant. Mia resigned 2 days later. Left a note. Said she was sorry to those she'd hurt. No one has seen her since. Sandra? She got a quiet promotion. No announcement. Just a new title on her door. Eric became interim CEO. Patricia's nonprofit spun off from the company. She still shows up sometimes, but more like a watchdog now. She's not here for photo ops anymore. And me? I stayed. For a while. But I changed desks. Worked quietly. No more late nights. No more team bonding meetings. Just the work. The week after the scandal broke, I ran into Dana at the front desk. She handed me my new badge. Not many would have done what you did, she said. Took guts. I shrugged. She added, but, it cost you something too, didn't it? I nodded. Because it did. There's something no one tells you about blowing the whistle. About exposing the truth. They make it sound noble, like you're doing the right thing. And maybe you are. But the truth doesn't just take down the bad guys. It breaks people. It leaves you standing in the ashes, wondering if any of it mattered. Philip lost his job. Mia lost her future. Patricia lost whatever was left of her marriage. And me? I lost my peace. But I gained something too. Clarity. Some people lie so smoothly, they convince themselves. They use power like a mask. They believe they can't fall. Until someone shows them the footage. I don't know what happens next. Maybe I leave the company. Maybe I stay. But I do know one thing. I'll never ignore my gut again.